Hi, you are at home with Mrs. Hockin. And if you're like me, you like a good story. One of my favorites is the rainbow fish. And that's what we're going to base our project on today. So we're going to do a little weaving of rainbow fish. So you're going to need paper, scissors, markers, and a pencil, of course. Now, if you would like some help with the body of your fish, I'm going to suggest you find a nice big Tupperware dish or even a pie pan, something that has a nice big circle on it. All right, go get your things and I'll meet you back here. Could use an oval, a circle, and if you want some help, you could even get a big bowl or dish like I have here just to help you make an outline, just to get you started. And you can always change it up a little if you want to. But that helps me to know I want it nice and big. So there is the body. And next, we're gonna need to add a tail. Now, the tail is narrowest where it's attached, but it's not so tiny and so skinny that it could fall off. We want to give it some thickness, and then from here it's going to get larger or go out. It's not going to go straight or in, because that's not what a fish's tail does. It gets wider. It needs to be able to propel him. So I'm going to go out. And you know, I'm doing it in pencil so that if I change my mind or I don't like it, I can always adjust it. And then it kind of comes back like so. It's a big triangle. It's got some curves to it, but you get the idea. So there's his tail. Now he also has fins to help propel himself, something on top. And we don't want to make something little or hard to cut out. So I'm going to go all the way to the top of the paper and then come back down, something like that. I can put a couple fins on the bottom. And then because this is in front of his body, we'll erase that line because it overlaps. This one is behind his body, so we won't see all of it. We'll just see a little bit. Now I'm going to give him his mouth. Now you can really do any kind of a mouth you want. Fish sometimes have just a big mouth that goes like this. They can have lips. There's so many different options. I'm going to do more like my rainbow fish, and that starts with a sideways V, okay? And then he has a lip on top and a lip on the bottom, something like that. Nice and big. And then his eye. Now I can draw this free-handed, or if you find something that is a nice circle that you want to trace, you can. I'm going to give him a nice big eye right up front here. And I want to keep it up front. I don't want it way back here. In fact, I might even make it a little closer to my lips because I want to leave this area for the weaving part. So I'm going to put his eye a little closer right up front, just like that. And then I can give him the colored portion of his eye, the black iris portion, and then I'll give him a little banana, which is that highlight that makes his eye look shiny. And we'll give him a little eyebrow. And then right here from the fins, from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top, I'm going to go straight. This is going to be like his gill line, okay? Because all of our weaving will happen back here. And if I wanted, I could even make it a little closer, but I don't want to come before his eye. I want to keep it on this side of it, okay? Now, once I have done that, then I can start the fun part. I can start coloring him. Now, you can color him all different colors, or you can pick a nice background color like I did, because when we weave, his scales are going to be the part that's kind of colorful. So I think what I'm going to do is stick with some basic colors, like maybe one for the front part and his fins and tail, and maybe something real basic like a gray or something for the body. That way my scales will really pop out and show up. All right, here we go. Now, one thing you want to do when you use your markers, when you use a marker that has a conical tip, that means it's got a cone tip. If you color like this, that's little lines that you're getting. And notice how it doesn't get very far, even though I'm doing it fast. Now, if I lay it on its side and I slowly move it back and forth like this, then I am getting it colored in and the marker isn't getting white. Sometimes when people do it fast like that, they'll say, Mrs. Hocken, my marker is running out. It's not running out. What's happening is you're coloring too fast and it can't keep up. It's meant to go in nice long motions like this. So even though I'm doing this slower, I'm not doing a quick back and forth, I'm going to end up filling up my area much faster because it will fill it up without any white spaces. And my marker will not act like it's running out on me. Plus, I won't have all those white spaces. We don't want white spaces because that takes away all the bold, beautiful color for our fish. So, take your time, lay the marker on its side if you have a cone tip like I do, and do nice slow strokes. You will be much happier with how your marker works. Now it's time to get ready for our weaving. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the loom. That's what you do your weaving on. And our fish is going to be the loom. Now I have a circle here. That's one side of the circle. Here's the other. And I am going to fold it. I'm going to try my very best to fold it in half. You might have to have an adult help you with this, okay? So here's one edge of the circle, and here's the other edge of the circle, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut lines. That's gonna become our loom. Now, you don't wanna go all the way to the edge or you're gonna cut your fish into pieces. So when you take your scissors and cut, you wanna stop before you get to the edge. If you want to make your lines on your loom the same distance apart, I can use a ruler like this, and look at how I can just do something like this. And then they're all the same distance apart. I'm gonna line it up right there and draw a line on the other. Do you see how I didn't draw that line all the way to the edge? Don't go all the way. Have mom or dad or big brother or sister help you if you need. Just like if you were with Mrs. Hocken, I would help you out too. So, whoopsie daisy, that one went off the railroad track or off the road. I'm gonna hold it like so. And there we go. So these are the lines that I'm going to cut on. Do not go all the way to the edge. You want to leave yourself some space. So now I'm going to cut and stop before you get to the end. Cut your line. Stop before you get to the end. Now I'm going to do it to the rest of them. There we have our fish loom. These are the strips where we're going to weave in and out of. What are we going to weave in and out? Well, we are going to need to get some colored paper, or you can make colored paper by coloring it yourself. I happen to have several strips of white, so I'm going to make my own. because our fish is in fact a rainbow fish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make strips that would be about the thickness of my ruler. Remember how we did that before? I'm going to put my ruler down so that it lines up, and then I'm going to go like this. Now I can either make them thick strips like this, or I could cut these in half and make them smaller strips. It depends on what you want to do. Now, because he is in fact a rainbow fish, we want to do colors according to the rainbow. They go in a certain order. They go red, orange, then they go yellow, and then it goes to green, and then the next color will be blue, and then purple. Now, a real rainbow will also have something called indigo, which is a bluish purple. You can do that, and then purple if you want to, or you can just do it like this. All right. Notice I didn't go all the way down, because when I look at the size of my fish, the weaving, as long as it goes from one side to the other, this should be long enough. All right, so let's get working on coloring those in. All right, now we have our stripes. It's time to cut them out. You're just going to cut, do it slowly, a line. This is good practice for your cutting down the middle. And that way, they're thinner and you can fit more strips on your fish. All right, so here's how we do that. Okay, now that we have those strips, there's one more thing we have to make. Anybody who knows the story of our dear friend the rainbow fish knows that he had very special shimmering shining scales. So if you would like to make a very special scale, I take a little piece of tin foil. Now this edge right here is really sharp, so be careful, and you pull up against there. Woo, and get yourself a strip of tin foil. Now this is way too thick. What I did is this. I just folded it. I'll move him over. I folded it, and you know what? This side is the shiniest side. That side is not. So I want to fold it so the shiny side is on the outside. And if that's still too thick, I can fold this again and make a strip out of tin foil so that it is his shimmering special scales. We're going to start over, and I'm going to go under, and then I'm going to go over the next strip and under the next one, over that and under. And that is how I get my first one. Now the trick here is the next one I do not do the same way. I don't want to go over. I want to start under and then go over and under. And so you can see that they are doing the opposite. And so now what we need to do is, just to make sure this isn't going anywhere, you could get a little bit of glue and just put a dot under the end of it right here. I hope you enjoyed making yourself a rainbow fish and doing a little weaving. Now that you've done it on a fish, you can try it with other animals as well. That's all we have time for today. It was good to see you here at home with Mrs. Hockin.